and welcome to another episode of Who Gives a Hoot. I've got John, Kyle, Braden, and myself here to talk about two games, League and Open Cup, since I guess we actually have to specify which cup, because we have two cup competitions. And do they both actually have cups, or are they trophies?
We know Jaeger Cup was not a trophy, was not a cup last year.
I think the Open Cup is a cup.
Yeah, it does have a.
Okay, so
it is a cup.
You can drink out of the Open Cup.
Yeah,
is
you
it a
could.
removable lid? Because it has a lid, right?
Yeah, it does have the lid. Yeah.
If you can take the lid off, because I mean that's always been the disappointing thing. Winning the both times we've won USL League One trophy is it's not a cup. It has a firm cap on the top for those teams that don't understand what it's like. But let's jump back to Tormenta, who we played on Saturday. Is that Saturday?
Yep.
We kept the streak alive.
We did. We kept it alive very, very well. Owusu, who we'd announced and then team announced officially announced shortly thereafter, getting the start and getting a goal.
Against us, but yes.
Hey, he got a goal. He got a goal. And Jensen getting the start there, as a continual trend, like definitely. We looked very good. We looked very recovered and composed compared to our season opener.
I will say this as well. Sergio Ors Navarro also got a start, and then we'll talk about Des Moines started there too.
Yes, he did.
And he was the one who actually got the first goal. It was a bit of a mess off of the corner kick, but he's the one credited with it.
Goal and an assist in your first professional game, although that was the easiest assist you could ever get recorded. But we'll probably talk more about that goal in a minute.
Wait. John. In the J. Mims school of thought, what is the hardest thing to do in soccer?
Mm-hmm.
Score a goal.
Score twice.
All right, we'll put your jackassery to the side. No, we started very well. We looked a lot more composed. I liked just about everything about how we played. Defense was still a bit of a question there. The own goal by Wusu was unfortunate, but it was not a misread of play. It was just a bad ricochet.
I think he got shielded. I don't think he saw the ball coming because he didn't even try to move his foot. It it hit the inside of his ankle before he even knew it did.
Yeah, there was no chance for reaction. He saw it come off he felt it come off his foot, saw it go into the goal, and he knew what happened. But to his credit, he redoubled his efforts. He was out there. He was. He didn't slack because of that. Nobody gave him a hard time on it, and he was busting his butt to keep it going.
Mm-hmm.
It looked like he started lining up in the center of the three-back formation, but I think if you look at where the guys played on average, he more veered to the right. Marco kind of started playing in the center, and we'll talk about Des Moines more in a little bit, but Marco definitely favored playing in the center that night.
And I mean, Anderson on the left, holding his own, right? Also getting injured. But and having his ear wrapped up from it bleeding, but still playing through it, holding his own, playing well.
South Georgia Tormenta, not South Georgia Tyson. But the biggest question I think we had prior to hit and record on this was Dion was listed as having the armband, but we weren't convinced he did, whether it was Marco. So Marco having the armband makes sense for him to be the center defender, center in the back three. Just that gives him the most command of the field, especially with Jensen in goal, who, while it's not his first pro season, still a younger guy in goal. Like Marco really just has that full command there, and I think him fitting in at center is really where I'd like to see him most.
Yeah.
Also, he talks to the ref way too much.
I also still don't think we know, based on happenstance and injury, we don't know who our main three center backs are going to be going forward. Once you figure out who the three best guys are, then you figure out where it makes the most sense to put them.
I definitely think Marco is one of them, though. I will say that.
Yeah, I think
Marco's one of them.
Yeah, I think we're going to find out in the next three games. We'll get to talking about what those next three games are here in a little bit, but it's going to solidify itself very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, speaking about Anderson, it almost looks like Anderson is kind of the preferred option on the left center back spot.
He's good.
It's between Coleman and Owusu for the right center back. It's kind of what it's looking like right now. So we'll see.
Was Coleman an unnecessary spend? We'll find out.
I mean, who knows? But I am curious about everyone else's opinions, though, because we did go on to win this game. We had two other goals. One of them won goal of the week, and I think it was the worst goal.
I think you're right. Not to detract from his goal of the week, but it was not our best goal of the game.
Like it was a great ball. Charlie crossed it in right to Dion, pitch perfect. Great.
Yeah.
The other goal was a team effort from the entire other side of the field, passing, one-touch passing for the most part, almost hitting the ref, going all the way through to the other side, and then a beautiful finish.
And that one also had a field-wide pass from Ostrom to Dion. It was they just did more with it.
What was that? A 4-player build-up on that goal?
I want to say even more.
I think it's like 7. I think the team even tweeted it. They said like 7 for like 11 or 12 passes. 7 players starting from the back.
And like that passing, like we said, we had started to see that passing in Greenville at the very first 30 minutes of it. It wasn't super there against Flatirons, but we really started to see it in this game. Like we saw so much good passing.
So the goal that Dion got goal of the week on, I think it's arguable that it was the assist of the week for sure. And that just kind of led to it winning goal of the week. Like the quickness of that run, because you're not going to do the full run up for our second one to win goal of the week. They're looking at the final 2, and that final 2 made it to be our best goal, but not overall. It sounds like we're all in agreement there that the goal of the week was not our best goal of the game.
I mean, it definitely wasn't the worst choice in terms of who could have done it. And I'm just gonna say this right away. It doesn't matter how we score. We seem to score any way we want in that game, whether it be off a corner in the most off the head way, or we're doing it with an entire team goal. So it's good to know we can actually do that after playing somewhat conservatively in the previous match before with Flatirons. So
well, as we alluded to, we won this game. We scored all the goals. All of them.
Yeah,
all of the goals we scored them. And quick turnaround against Des Moines. But we had some news in between. Well, one of them was technically announced before the Tormenta game. Second bit was announced just hours before the Des Moines game. But Blake Malone suffered they listed as a foot injury, if I'm correct.
Yeah, it was listed as a foot injury.
Like, did he get gangrene on his foot? Did he get trench foot? Like, he off serving in the Maginot? Or,
I mean, worst case scenario, he took a weird tumble in practice or something, and he probably has a not put weight on it. So,
yeah, we're gonna bring him on sometime over the next couple of weeks to defend his honor of what sort of weird feet things he's into that caused such injury.
You're the only one on this podcast bringing it up, so
yeah, that's weird.
If he can defend himself against you and only you, then it's not going to be that hard.
All right, fair.
It was. I mean, we kind of had an ominous hint towards it at a season ticket holder event where the majority of the players were there, and it was very.
He was a
last
minute
Blake
no
was
show.
Not. So, I don't know if they're protecting news or if he'd already had a procedure.
I'm worried it was an Achilles, because the way they put it out and when they put it out, it seemed to hint towards season ending, and that's about the only, like, even a broken bone in the foot, it's going to take month, 2 months, and we're still 6-7 months into before the end of the season.
Injuries to a foot that require surgery are almost never good. Even like you said with a broken bone, there's some foot injuries with a broken bone, like a Lisfranc injury, where like sometimes a player doesn't even come back from that. You have issues getting blood flow to certain parts of the foot whenever you have an injury, and people's bodies react differently.
They didn't strike him from the roster, which is a promising sign that he will come back from it. From what it seems, he's not in the same situation where Lagos went out of state for his rehab and recovery. So there's some very positive signs we may see Blake before the end of the season. But as I said, we will hopefully get a chance to talk to him on the pod in the next couple weeks. Just be able to get his thoughts on the current squad, as well as how things are going there. But the other bit of news, I think nobody here is surprised. Anybody surprised?
No.
John, you look surprised.
The other bit of news that we beat Des Moines Menace in a soccer match?
No. That's not surprising.
No. This is Luke's hometown kid, hometown hero news.
Oh. Adopted hometown.
Not hometown. Not
That's
hometown.
True.
Housetown.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, that's actually technically true. Okay, I'll have to give you
that. Yeah. No, Jensen getting signed to a full contract. Like, I'm not surprised there. You're seeing him at the season ticket member event. He tall. Like, he real tall. Kyle, he's taller than you, and you're
no,
tall.
He's not. He's not taller than me.
All right, we're gonna go back to back.
He's listed at 6'5" or 6'4".
We're going back to back with you two.
It's not close, but okay.
We're going back to back. We're gonna find this out. He has done everything we've asked of him, and honestly, he's really didn't even make the bench for Des Moines.
Yeah, that's sort of like if the team had not announced that they had signed him permanently, they would have told on themselves when you realized that Shido still made the bench.
Yeah.
Against Someone Menace. And honestly, Shido looked like he was putting work in. Like he looked like obviously if he had to go in, he would have. That you don't put him on the bench if he can't. But I mean, didn't look like he was favoring anything. It's probably just you probably want to give him one night where he goes through the motions, but then doesn't have to worry about playing the 90 just to kind of get your mind right.
And I could potentially even see that against Richmond too. Like maybe doing a little bit more even against Richmond in that preparation. And then maybe waiting for the next cup game or something. But he's definitely close.
Especially at Richmond specifically for him, especially for him and for most players, like kind of have a little bit of hex playing at Richmond. We've never played well there.
Yeah. Alex Bruce
just like
oof.
Hasn't played in the US since. No, with Shido, I think one of the big things of him going along, yes, as you said, like getting him back in the rotation, doing the work, having the feel of he's competing for that starting spot. And honestly, with 3 goalkeepers, it's the feel of, he may very well be competing for the starting spot by the end of the season. I still think a full healthy Shido is the best goalkeeper we have, but having that 3 competition's huge. But Shido is the captain. Like him in that locker room is going to be irreplaceable, especially going into a very seasoned side like the amateur Des Moines Menace. But even on Shido's Instagram pages today, he's posting photos with players, former national team players from that were playing for the Menace. Like his leadership there, I think, was definitely important to have back. Not on the field, but obviously locker room and sideline. Dom's a great coach, but having a player leader is second to none.
I mean, this is a case actually. We talk about this in teaching about having a near peer mentor and how that's so much more impactful as well. So it's fully the same type of deal there. I know.
Yeah,
I know.
No. I mean, it's definitely having your TA. Yeah, and I don't want to call Shido a TA, but he is. If you got a player council, he's the head of the player council.
And then we traveled, or at least most of us traveled. You didn't, right, Luke?
I did not travel.
Yeah, but the 3 of us did. 2-hour trip. Honestly, wasn't that bad. It was a little windy, but wasn't terrible. At least I found. It was in West Des Moines, so you didn't even get to go to the fun part of Des Moines.
Yeah, the made up part of Des Moines that is Des Moines.
But
that's separate.
You guys had to pass through Urbandale?
Not Urbandale. No.
Not even. Well, you go essentially. You go until you hit the I-35 intersection, and then you go south 1 mile.
Oh no, I've been to a few Menace games, and no. That is a nice stadium. It's definitely a fun one. The tailgating's a little weird, but sounds like you guys tailgated nearby.
Yeah, there was a separate place that the society had gotten some reservations at, and it was pretty fun.
Nice. Sold out, but the broadcast decided to be, they're from the press box rather than on the opposite side, so didn't actually show pretty much any fans during the actual game. Kind of like a Richmond game.
Opposite of a Richmond game.
Opposite of a Richmond game.
It's a Greenville game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Football lines and all.
Although
the Tigers.
Furman aren't the Tigers.
No, but the Valley Tigers.
Valley
are what the Des Moines.
We'll say on the broadcast, the lines were more clear in Des Moines as to where the soccer boundaries were than they were in Greenville.
I still think some of our players are having issues with them, and we'll get into that maybe if we start talking about more particulars.
Well, let's break it down, because the stats showed it was a pretty even game, possession wise. First half, we looked dominant. Like we looked very, very solid. Got both our goals.
Nobody could keep up with Dion. Nobody. He picked a side. He picked a side of a defender that he wanted to run past them on, and then he ran past them on that side.
It was like Dion just kind of wanted to rub into these old guys' faces. Granted, as we mentioned, Des Moines didn't have just all old guys playing. That no, I could have done better than you can.
Well,
I'm
gonna say they even said, I think in the write up and everything about it. Dion's 33. Like he's kind of close to some of the players. But they actually started about half and half. Because Fellhaber didn't start, Ozzy Alonso didn't start, and then you had Bradley Wright Phillips actually pull up with an injury pretty early, so they subbed on a younger guy instead to go the full rest of the time.
Yeah, because I think their oldest guy on their team was 48. Our oldest.
Their question's older than that. Failhaber too.
How's questions? No, Failhaber's not. I think Failhaber's only like 38.
Question's 39.
Sorry, Sasha.
I mean, you're older than them, John.
I didn't say I wasn't.
Fellhaber's 40. I guess Question will turn 40 this year. He's just born later in the year than Fellhaber is, who also turned 40 this year. Yeah.
So yes, John, you are older than them. Why aren't you out there?
Because I ran out of breath screaming by the 70th minute. Screaming.
Yeah, screaming at a ref that we will probably talk a little bit more about, but just over the course of the game, did not give a player on the field for Des Moines a card. Somehow.
By the end of the game, I think it was 2 yellows for Des Moines total and 4 for us, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. Run of play was extremely good. We spread the field. We were working very well.
We should have scored more. I think
we should have scored more.
We should have scored more.
In that
1 or 2 off the post.
Their keeper was great.
Yeah.
He almost spilled one the very first shot, and then after that, he was good.
I guess on our second goal, he didn't do the best job, but yeah, every other time he was doing really well.
Yeah, their defense wasn't the strongest. Their midfield, honestly, their midfield was holding extremely well. They did not control the midfield, but they did very well in the midfield. I'll give them a participation trophy. But their keeper made some really big saves. I was very, very impressed by him. But we got some good ones past him.
I mean,
and we got run of play past him.
Yeah, if you think what the strength of our team is, at least for a while, it's really been how great our wings are, our wing backs and wingers are. And they just didn't have the speed. We talked about Dion, but even just anyone really, right? Like Charlie on the left side, right? our wingers really put pressure on them, and we even played through the middle of the field a bit too. So
it seemed like a carbon copy of the game plan from Tormenta. Even I don't remember from Tormenta if I have it up. Did Dion sub off against Tormenta?
I don't think so.
Did.
I want to say like his 70th minute.
Let me look.
It looks like according to the league site he did not. And I know he subbed off at halftime last night, or was he like right after halftime? Either way, the game plan was basically, if you rewatch Tormenta, we almost universally attacked up the right-hand side with Dion, and then we attacked more with Charlie Ostrom in the second half. I know we subbed Dion off, but we basically did the same thing. The game flowed through Charlie on the left, even after we went down a man, and we still were maybe for like 15 minutes trying to counter to see if we could make it 3-1 and make it easy on ourselves, and then had to kind of like settle things down, and we brought Mark on to just run them tired.
I mean, even the first 10 minutes of the first half before the incident that I'm sure we'll talk about, we looked good. We had some great shots early on in the second half. I just couldn't put them away.
How many yellow cards did we end up with in the first half? For sure one, but I think three. Was it
three? I want to say
three of our four.
Yeah, 3 in the first half. Marco and Schneider also got yellows.
Yep. And then going to the break, up 2-0. What was it? 57th minutes when we really started running into trouble. Or 58.
55th is the penalty. So
you mean the slight tap on the back in the box that ended in a second yellow.
All right, I'm going to be the fuddy-duddy here. I think the call was right.
All right, be the fuddy-duddy.
Get
out of here.
The call was right because
Go.
The call was right for 2 reasons. One, happened in the box. You have to call it. And the card came, I think, because it wasn't just like a light foul or an incidental handball that happened to be in the box. But I think the referee had to give the card because it wasn't a foul as on a tackle, but it was like denying a goal scoring opportunity.
I
think that's the logic behind it.
I fully agree that I think it was a penalty. I don't necessarily think it was a second yellow. Do you know what I thought?
Second yellow.
Do you know what I thought the ref did? The ref thought, "Oh, I'm going to card this guy and give him a yellow," and then he looked in his book because you actually see it if you go back on the broadcast.
It was delayed.
He looked in his book and was like, "Oh shit, I gave this guy a yellow already. I've got to give him a red." I think it was the ref being like, "Oops, I probably shouldn't have given him a second yellow since he was already on a yellow."
Yeah.
And that can't be rescinded, can it?
No.
Nope. Not unless you're even with VAR, you can't rescind a yellow.
No. I mean, can we lobby to get the suspension removed for the Open Cup? I don't think you can do that because it was 2 yellows.
So, you think a ref who better understood rules, better understood, I'm just going to put this, labor unions, collective bargaining agreements, would have awarded a second yellow in that situation?
You know what? I just want to say, I think this ref is anti-union in all cases.
Oh, okay. Thank you. On the broadcast, it seemed like a very soft touch. You three were there, but broadcast and even the commentators were saying very much, we don't think he realized he gave him a yellow in the first half. That didn't seem like a yellow-worthy offense anyway, but he whipped it out, and once he whipped it out, he couldn't put it back.
Yeah, that sounds about right. From what I saw, I think initially it was like a little bit confusion from the teams. Like, I was like, whoa, from everybody. Like, if you're gonna give him a yellow for the second there, why haven't you given anyone else on the field a yellow for Des Moines?
Yeah, there's some harder fouls that didn't get calls.
Yeah, or at the very least, they were just pleading, saying, "Hey, it's just a foul. That's all it is. You can give the pen, whatnot. Just don't give the yellow."
Yeah,
I was gonna say, I think the franticness right before the penalty And not just right before, but also maybe the run of play before it as well. Like you could tell when like it creates a different kind of tension of the direction the game is going, and it almost is like building up for the ref to blow the whistle in the box.
Yeah, I would say the play right before it, we cleared the ball very poorly. We had an opportunity to clear it a lot better than we did, and it played right into them having that crossing opportunity. So that was unfortunate.
Yes. That kind of goes to where I think we've been so far this season, at least what's been viewable so far the season. The clearances need to get better. Don't know. There's a possibility we were tired. But there was a lot of guys who played Saturday in South Georgia that were featured on Wednesday.
Yeah.
We buckled down. We didn't stop the attack. We still had some decent chances.
Especially Bronick and Charlie, honestly, going forward too. Charlie was more than willing to run forward.
Yeah, we put on some fresh young legs, and they harassed them. They really brought the heat, and kept that game from being just a let's turtle it.
Well, we did get to see one. Yeah, we did, but we did actually get to see an interesting experiment that we haven't talked about yet with Dion being off. Aaron Gomez as right back.
Out of need.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what, it looked natural. he looked like he knew where to be.
Like it didn't look bad. It definitely didn't look bad in the run of play.
He did not make very many mistakes positionally.
Aaron Gomez got player of the match too.
Yeah, goal and an assist.
Yeah.
He did get megged once, but then he had cover, so it wasn't bad. But
we don't talk about a man's getting megged.
I wonder what Dom told Mark Bronick when he subbed him off, because we all agreed that being down a man, Mark Bronick was just doing an awesome job of just making them work, just making them tired. We're hoping that he was taken off simply because all Mark did was run, and that Dom wanted somebody up there that was going to be fresh for the last kind of 5-minute push to just make one more stop.
So
that's my hope.
My question there would be, was Dom making that move anticipating that they would level, feeling that it would be inevitable and put somebody on who's better at PKs?
No, because you have 30 minutes to go after that. You can do that later.
I would also, Bronick, if you remember last year, the big moment of him scoring the PK against El Paso to win.
I know.
So that's why I don't think that's the case. I think it's more what JR was talking about. Like he came on in the, I think, 70th minute, and then they just told him, run, chase down everything, make sure that they don't have time to think, essentially. So you're just running consistently.
Burn some time.
Yeah. And so I'm guessing they're like, okay, we'll throw someone in who's maybe a little bit more defensive minded as well, because as good as Mark Bronick is at running, he's a little
more experienced,
muscly.
Yeah, Wamry's definitely built bigger. He can, if you need to put another body in to defend a free kick or a corner kick.
Mm-hmm. So that's also the thought, I think.
No. Well, we won it. Today we're recording this on Thursday. The following match was announced who our opponent would be. Team we've never faced before, even preseason, as far as I know.
Nope.
Featuring
Sorry, go ahead.
No. It's featuring at least one former Buo.
Interesting roster as well. Not to mention a team that has not lost a game yet. Four matches, 4 wins.
Team that has 4 wins.
Some guys we've seen before. Nicky Hernandez was at North Texas when they were in the league with us. You might know Luke Hawkinson, who was at Nashville for a few years, and Of course, Juan Agudelo. Completely forgot Juan Agudelo is playing for San Antonio FC. Was Juan Agudelo at Cuva? Do you guys remember this?
Oh, shoot, I don't remember if he was.
I'm gonna look this up between now and the next 2 weeks.
But San Antonio, which is who we play at home in this game. Not only have we not played them before this year, now that we're playing them in the Open Cup, we played them twice.
I totally did not think of that.
We also play them in the Jaeger Cup in San Antonio.
Which San Antonio is a fun city to visit, and they have a beautiful stadium down there.
Mm-hmm.
So, I honestly, in like what's been kind of a crummy April so far, I kind of wish we were playing down there.
I mean, I don't know that I would be able to go there though, so I would be stuck here anyway, probably.
I mean, we'll just all hop in a truck and just haul it down.
I'm curious how they're going to prepare for us. We should probably talk about our actual next game, but but one point I wanted to make was so the week after us, they host the defending champions, Colorado Springs, with no weekend game. So they're kind of like us right now, where we don't have a weekend game. We'll play Richmond next week, but the Saturday before they play us, they host Miami FC. Who do they prioritize? I think that's a legitimate question.
It
Miami
might
FC
be
at
us.
home or us away?
I think it might be us. Oh no.
No. Do we send messages to Dalton and to
Ricky,
who's there now? And Ricky scored for them last night, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he scored.
Was he the one who scored?
Hold on.
2 nights ago against.
Or 2 nights ago, I think.
He didn't score against Inter now.
Did he not?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Inter 2. But
hey, it's who they decided to submit. We're just gonna say what the name is.
Yeah. Well, let's try to get former Buos to harass them as much as possible, make it easier for us going into this, and playing at home, wherever home is that time. We haven't announced where it's going to be.
They play Phoenix before that.
I feel like we could.
We know JP will do it. We know JP will do it.
But JP does not foul.
JP not fouling? What?
JP only gets a yellow card every other game.
Yeah, I was about to say.
JP is the most clean player I've ever seen.
But let's not ignore
Richmond. Let's talk about our next league game.
Let's talk about Richmond.
Yeah.
Richmond is a very interesting team to me, the start of the season, because they came into it, and my thought, at least, as they came into it was, we're going to play our academy kids. They also did bring some pieces, but I'm like, they're going to play their academy kids. They've had some ups and downs so far this season.
Yeah.
More down. Definitely more down.
Don't worry, they still have Terzaghi.
They have 2 wins and 2 losses. I mean, yes, they lost in the Open Cup, but they have 2 wins and 2 losses in the league.
Yeah.
So, who knows?
That also is saying they've had a pretty congested schedule so far. I mean, we've only been playing for 4 weeks, and they've already gone through. Did they play both rounds, Open Cup?
No.
Or they just lost first round?
They lost to Virginia Dream in the first round, but they've played 4 League One games. This is their 5th League One game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Win at Tormenta, lost at Charlotte. They recently lost home to Madison. I don't remember the game before that.
They beat Alta 3-1.
Yeah, that is a really weird schedule to start with. Very weird results that really don't correlate. We're only a month in the season, but we already kind of feel that.
Yeah.
I definitely think it's going to be a challenge for us. We've got a full week to rotate the squad. I think some of the guys who may have lost a bit of ear or, however it could be, end up back in the squad. Do we see Shido playing? I mean, that's something we brought up earlier. Do we see Shido back in the 11? Like, there are a lot of things to consider, and to me, it's really hard to predict where we're going to end up here, just based on the injuries we've had.
My thought is, for Shido at least, I don't know that I see him playing. He might. I don't know. Because we had a very short away trip that he was going through the motions of. This is a long away trip. It's a lot of flights. It's kind of hard for us to get to.
But on the bench is on the bench.
Yeah. So I think I see him on the bench, but I don't know if I see him.
I'll say this. I actually think maybe the travel to Richmond could be easier when you consider that we bus trip to Des Moines same day at the game. That's probably harder to prepare your body for if you're just coming off of an injury. They travel the night before somewhere else. I'm not a professional athlete, so I don't know which feels better.
You're not?
One versus the other. Hey, my team might win our X Golf League next week, so maybe we'll see. I might make an announcement after that.
I mean, my thought is, why risk it when you have Jensen, who's been playing for you consistently right now anyway, when you have now a home game the week after that you can for sure start him in, right? Have him start with a home game so it's a bit easier.
I honestly think because we can afford to lose a league game more than we can an Open Cup game. See if he can do it.
Yeah. Who knows? I do think we'll see. We might see another interesting center back combo. Like I said, I think you're seeing Marco in the center. You're seeing Anderson on the left. Coleman looked all right against Des Moines. He had some great defensive moves, I would say. His clearances and his passing were not the best. So we'll kind of see who between him and Owusu kind of wins out. I don't know.
Yep. It's going to be an interesting one. I'm not going to ask for score predictions on it just because
So just to be clear, because it kind of goes in line with the fact that he didn't play the last game, and we're predicting he'll play against Richmond. Owusu can play in the Open Cup, correct?
He can next round, yes. Okay, so here's the thing. Last year when he played for New York City 2, he got a red card on their final match before they were knocked out.
Oh, this I did not know. Oh, Braden coming in with the bomb.
Okay.
This is I cannot give myself the credit on this. I was giving it to Rich by Rich.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah, so that is the reason why he was not on the lineup, because he still had not had his suspension filled.
Especially the bench, because we had 0 center backs on the bench.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. And also it means that I was just reminded that we completely forgot in the Des Moines match to talk about Sasha Kleshtin getting 2 yellows on the bench and getting sent off. So if he does do this whole thing next year, he can't play the first game.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so Owusu will definitely be in the next roster against San Antonio for the Open Cup if he is available, provided nothing else happens, whatnot.
Okay.
But that's kind of like the one thing that was like, I knew this going into it, like, oh, he's probably not going to play, whatever, he's a red card. But, like, clearly not everyone has done the deep research on that, which is fine, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, make sure we know where these guys came from and when they got knocked out of the Open Cup and how that happened.
I mean, that is definitely something to keep in mind with a league that deals with 1 year contracts. Like, he gets a yellow card, 2 yellow cards in previous, or red card. Like, do those carry over? Like,
now I'm looking up 2024 San Antonio FC season because they have not played an Open Cup game yet.
No,
that's true. And I guess we kind of mentioned it, but Knapp is the one who got the second yellow, the red, and so we won't see him against San Antonio. I expect we'll see him in Richmond though.
unless it can be appealed.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be appealed.
I don't think it will be, but well, let's move on to let's move back local, city wise. You all live within Omaha city limits, as far as I know.
No.
Well, yeah, he's a weird one. You're way the heck out there.
Yeah.
You live in Omaha, but you don't live in the county.
Oh yeah, his county. You are a different county. Yeah.
Yeah. I live in the free commune of Chalco for all the listeners out there.
You're not a free commune. You just have no representation.
No
vote, no representation.
Yeah, like not even in Gretna, which is like the closest municipality near me. I'm not annexed by them yet either.
Don't make a free state of Jones comparison. I've been to Jones County. You want to see some shit.
But to my point is Omaha just had their primaries for mayor. 2 candidates made it through, Ewing and Stothert. Stothert has been a staunch supporter of Union Omaha. I've yet to hear Ewing's opinions. He's been Douglas County treasurer for 16 years?
He's been in it for
a while. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd really love to hear where everything is. But that was Tuesday, day of the Open Cup. Gary had a meeting with a public speaking event, I guess, although not public, at a private social club in Omaha, talking about the future of Omaha. Seems well timed based on the election results, but LinkedIn seemed to hint that it was talking about stadium, and so do we hear some stadium news here soon?
I sure hope so.
I mean, given my thoughts last week that I had about the how much harder it is to move up once pro rail comes, there's a clock ticking now.
We gotta. Yeah.
Yep.
So something I think we should definitely be keeping an eye out for, and hopefully we hear something soon. But unless you boys have anything else, I'm ready to move on to our last question.
What is that last question?
Who gives a hoot?
We do.